Well, I've got good news and bad news for you. The good news is we can finally expand the Xenoblade news title for these videos to Xeno news as a whole, because I've finally got news from a game that isn't Blade. The bad news is, with the rumored PSP, PS3, Vita store shut down, we've lost basically the only way to get Xenogears in English for cheap. And the topic of this video is versions of two Xenosaga games from before they officially released in English, so no, we're still not getting anything new. And as for those old versions, Project Deluge, an ongoing game development history archiving project thing, I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, recently, only a couple days ago as of recording, released 752 PS2 prototypes to the public, and among those are ones for Xenosaga Episode 1 and 3. Unfortunately, these won't give a super huge amount of information about the development of the games themselves, because these are localization prototypes, and they're versions that are dated after the initial Japanese release of the game, but before the North American English one. So we're not going to get any unfinished versions of the game itself, because that had already been completed and released in a different language, but we might get some interesting localization tidbits from it. Also, unfortunately, the Episode 3 one seems to be really boring, as it was basically just a preview build. The disc that it came off of is listed confidential for print previews only August issues, so it looks like it was sent out to print games media outlets in order to write preview articles about the game, and the only difference that seems to exist is it says "for press only" in red on top of the title screen, and everything else seems largely the same as the finished game. So it really does just seem like this is more or less the final version of Episode 3, and would take a lot of digging to find any actual differences, although presumably what differences do exist are bugs that hadn't been completely ironed out, or just unfinished localizations. Like, I would imagine they did the term glossary last when they were localizing the game, so there might be that, maybe some missing voice lines, because that's usually done late in the process, stuff like that. The much more interesting one is the Episode 1 prototype, because while it's actually dated a couple weeks as opposed to a couple months before the final release date, this one has a lot more interesting stuff in it, because it's actually a debug prototype. Not only does it say that there are a bunch of different button combinations you can press in order to bring up debug information while playing through the game normally, but there is also a debug room option on the main menu of the game that you can use to go there, and even the debug room has been localized into English, and presumably this is what the localizers were using to test out various parts of the game while they were in the process of localizing it. So it's really interesting, and while you probably can't get any development secrets from it, you almost certainly can have a lot of fun with the debug room. You can find links to both of these games, and they're actually completely emulatable, so you can go through and check them out yourself if you want. And I figured, why not use this as an excuse to test my streaming capabilities, and stream for as long as my internet and computer hold, me messing around in the Episode 1 debug room for a bit. So check the Twitch link in the description. About the time this video goes up, I'll probably make a community post about it too, and I hope to see you there, I guess. I'm not used to streaming, so we'll see how this goes. And no, this doesn't mean regular streaming, so no, the Discord server isn't going to be open yet. But yeah, see ya.